What's going on? Today I'm going to be giving you guys an in-depth guide on the Hunter Amara. I'll be covering everything from the skill tree to gear and how to farm everything the most efficient way so you can go from a level 35 bum to one of the most fun and yet overpowered characters in this game. Now this video will be time-stamped if you want to skip around and just copy the build, but if you're newer to Borderlands or Amara and want a more in-depth guide, then strap in for this Amara Zero to Hero. Alright, so assuming you guys are sitting here at level 35 and just completed the story, I'm going to show you a good skill tree to work off of until we reach max level. It's important to note that this will be completely different than our final build. This is just for getting by until we hit 72. So go ahead and pause the video as I go over each part of the tree. Like I said, this is set up for level 35 currently. Starting off with our orange tree, we're going to be working for Ties That Bond for our action skill. This will be the bread to your butter for these lower levels because it's going to allow us to clear hordes of enemies in seconds, which you will see shortly when we get to the XP farming itself. And then also Soulfire, which is going to be your action skill element, and that's just going to give us some incinerary damage on our action skill. Alright, now we're going to be getting into the butter for our bread, the blue tree, and we are going to be grabbing Soul Sap for our action skill augment. This is just going to keep us alive and give us way better sustain with that lifesteal, which is going to be helpful considering your gear won't be ideal at this point in the game. Now go ahead and head over to Maurice in the sanctuary here. Alright, and just real quick, we're going to be turning Mayhem mode on and setting it to level 11 for two reasons. Number one being so we can get anointments on our guns, and number two, just so we get this 100% XP boost. Alright, congratulations, you made it to Mayhem 11, and now every gun you've obtained up until this point in the game sucks. Sorry. But now we're going to head over to Moxxi's bar in the sanctuary, and we're going to start tipping her increments of 1,000 until you get up to anywhere between 1 to 300,000. This is just going to be depending on your luck and also how deep you want to go into your rolls trying to get the best gun possible. Next, head over to your mail, and you're going to be Next, head over to your mail, and you're going to
I love everything. I love that. I love that. I like that. I love that. I love.
Next, head over to your mail and you're going to want to look for the Terminal Crit. The Terminal Crit is an amazing SMG, and this SMG is going to take us all the way up to level 72. But do keep in mind, every like 10 levels or so, you're going to want to head back up to the Sanctuary to get a new Terminal Crit and shield so they stay up to level with you. Alright, and our last bit of setup before we leave to go farming, you're just going to want to head over to Tannis' lab and go to the Borderlands Science Machine. And once you're inside here, you're just going to play a few games until you rack up 500 coins, which honestly shouldn't take you too long, and the more you play it, you'll gain more coins to get your boosters faster. In this case, we're going to buy the Brain Nanobot, which is going to give us a 25% XP boost in combat for 2 hours. And now onto the XP farm. You are going to need the Handsome Jackpot DLC, and if you don't currently own this, I do highly recommend buying it. It does come with some great content, but more importantly, it comes with great loot and a great XP farm. And you are going to need to complete this DLC up until the Scrap Trap boss fight in the Compactor. And if you haven't done this already, I recommend just turning your Mayhem mode off and flying through it. It should take you anywhere between a half hour to an hour to get here, and trust me, it'll be more than worth it once you start farming. Alright, now here we are in the beautiful city of Trashlantis, and now once you are here, you're going to want to head over to this marker on the map. This is where you will drop into the boss fight, and I am going to show myself running down there really quick just so you guys can see the path. Alright, and here is your respawn point. And here's where we will drop down into the boss fight. Alright guys, it is time to get into that bread and butter. Ties That Bind. Whatever Scrap Trap we grasp is going to float into the air. We're going to shoot him, and whatever damage we deal to him is going to be spread to all the other Scrap Traps in the area. Meaning we kill one, we kill them all because they all have the same health pool. And then also Soul Sap goes hand in hand with that. It is going to give us a shit ton of lifesteal, making it really easy to stay alive and run this farm very efficiently. And so the way we are going to do that, I like to stay back in this area right here. It's pretty open and gives you a good little space to run. What I like to do is just kind of train these guys up in a circle and wait till you get a good group of them. Like so. And then you go ahead and phase lock one, kill him in the air, and you see that whole horde gone. And you can see all this lifesteal coming back to you. And so now you're going to go ahead, farm this nest until you get all the way to Scrap Trap Prime. But the thing is, when you get to Scrap Trap Prime, you're going to come out to this ledge right here. And as you see, they all despawn. And this actually resets your boss fight without save quitting. So you can just keep coming in here, farming up this Scrap Trap nest, and that is going to be way quicker than trying to kill this boss at these low levels, because its health pool is going to be scaled up and it's going to take you at least a couple minutes to kill it, where in that same time you probably could have just farmed a whole nother nest, getting you way more XP. And in doing this method, I went from level 35 to 72 in a single XP boost on my Amara. Congratulations, you guys made it to level 72 and you're ready to start your Phase Slam God build. I'm quickly going to go over all this loot for anyone skipping ahead, but don't worry, if you're waiting for that in-depth guide, I will be back to each and every one of these guns and pieces of equipment, and I will show you how to farm it. So starting off with our assault rifle, the Blade Fury. Shoots knives that deal weapon and melee damage, great for Amara. The must-have here is the slam damage is increased by 300% for Phase Slam. Next gun up, our other general / mobbing damage is going to be the Face Puncher. Doesn't have to be the redundant prefix. Same for the Blade Fury, as long as you get a good roll on both of these, it doesn't really matter. What does matter though, like I said, is the Annoyance, having that increased damage for your Phase Slam. Next up, we have our boss killer though, the Guardian Shotgun, which I know we're running 2 shotguns, but this one we won't be shooting. This shotgun has an effect where the farther you are from the enemy, the more damage you're going to deal. So we will be pairing this shotgun with our Fish Slap Grenade. Ideally, you're going to want to have an anointment on it. I'm a broke boy and I don't have one. But you're going to want to go for the bonus damage after you cast Phase Slam. That's going to be great here. 4th weapon slot, open to you guys. I actually want to see some suggestions down in the comments on some good guns to run with this build. I haven't got too crazy experimenting yet, but these 3 are the only ones that are required, so you know, let's have some fun with it and figure out something good to throw in here. Next up, for our shield, we have the Revolter, probably the most broken piece of equipment in this game. So the way this shield works, your shield breaks, you become shock enraged for 15 seconds. When you're shock enraged, you deal a massive amount of damage. But our loophole here is we're going to get the anointment at the bottom there on action skill start, activate any effects that trigger on shield break or fill. Meaning, every time we cast our Phase Slam, we will re-up on our Shock Enrage, and you're going to be Phase Slamming a lot, meaning you will always be Shock Enrage, dealing a crazy amount of damage. Next up, our class mod. This is where a lot of wiggle room comes in. You can really run whatever you want because this build is just so good. I prefer the Phase Zerker solely for the cooldown rate. The important part here is these 3 rolls at the bottom. There's 4 options you're going to want to try and fill in these 3 slots. Obviously, if you get 1 or 2, it's okay. You don't have to be perfect, but if you want to go for perfect, I'm going to give you your options. You have at the bottom of mine the action skill damage, that's 1. You can get action skill cooldown rate, and then there's melee damage and splash damage radius. Those are going to be the rolls you'll want to get at the bottom of your class mod. Next up, our artifact. There's 2 different options here, kind of 2 slightly different play styles for this build. First up is our Snowdrift Static Charge. Snowdrift prefix giving us that slide speed bonus, letting us get up and personal with the enemies a little bit better for that Phase Slam. Along with that, while you're getting those super fast slides, you're building up a static charge, and this is going to give you kind of a lightning bolt chain effect as you were mobbing and shooting enemies, which is really great. Bottom rolls on this aren't too important, don't worry about that. Our next option here is the Auto Idle for our other artifact. This is more of a little bit safer option, a lot better sustain. Honestly, really hard to die with the amount of damage you're going to be putting out. It's hard not to get a kill, and every time you get a kill, you're going to restore 25% of your max health here. Alright, let's go ahead and chop through our skill tree really quick, but before I do, I gotta give credit to Yoda of Soda for this awesome fucking build. He has a good video just showcasing specifically this build and a lot more details on it. If you want to check his video out, it'll be in the description. I definitely recommend you do. I wanted to showcase more so the adventure of going from Joe Schmo to this amazing build. So without further ado, let's chop this tree down. Starting in green, we have the Phase Slam action skill. Then we're going to be popping 5 points down here so we can get the Blight Tiger, giving us corrosive damage on our action skill. Now over into the purple tree, we are going to pick up the action skill Augment Expedite. This is going to give us a better action skill cooldown rate, giving us even more Phase Slams. And then along the way, we're going to pick up some good skills down the tree. Over in blue, we are just going to be picking up some good skills down the tree. And we got a couple points trickled into the orange tree here. And that is going to be it. Alright, for all my in-depth people, thank you for sticking around. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I'll try and go through this relatively quickly while still explaining all this in depth to you guys. So here we go, Blade Fury, this is our first gun. How do you get it? Simple. Vault card. All you gotta do is come over here, activate the Bunker Masters card. You get keys from gaining experience and opening up chests, and once you get 5 keys, you can head over here to the second gun, the Blade Fury, and redeem that. You will just want to make sure you get one with a anointment on it. By no means does this need to be a god roll. My Blade Fury is no god roll, and it still shreds. So all you need is a halfway decent roll with an anointment on it and you're set. You can throw that in your build and then you can farm up some more XP, get more keys, and get yourself a way better roll. Alright, next we're going to skip over the Face Puncher and go to the Guardian because this one is obtained the same exact way, except you are going to get this one from the Fallen Heroes Vault card. Also the second weapon here, same concept, 5 keys, get a gun. Don't be like me, get one with an anointment, get that 300 damage boost on there after you cast your Phase Slam, and that's pretty much it for the Guardian, same exact thing as the Blade Fury. Alright, so how do we farm Moldok the Anointed for a Face Puncher? We go to Eden 6, the Floodmore Basin. I'd suggest probably fast traveling to Naughty Peak to get here. You can go down the elevator, grab a cart, and you're going to want to head around to this little tower I'm on right now. Because from here, you need to hop on one of the carts, which you'll see in a second, and you're going to ride that over into this area for Moldok. If you do recall from the story, this is the same way you get in there, but it's just a little bit faster coming to this tower, not having to go the full fucking ride going 5 miles an hour. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut to when I get inside there. Okay, so now that we're coming up on the location we need to be at, do not worry about save quitting. I know you don't see a respawn station anywhere near, but actually up in that building, right there in that hole, there's a respawn station, so you can come down here, kill Moldok, this big doofus right here, and after you kill him, you're just going to want to keep going for that Face Puncher. If you don't get it, go ahead, save, quit, and all you got to do, load back up. And as you can see, once you load back in, you will be up here at the top. All you got to do is jump down, come back over, go farm the big dummy, rinse and repeat until you get yourself a Face Puncher. Alright, and for our next pain in the ass to farm, we have our Fish Slap Grenade. So now, in order to get the Fish Slap Grenade, you must have the Revenge of the Cartels enabled here before you load up your game. Alright, and after you enable the event, all you gotta do is come back to Sanctuary and talk to our good friend Maurice. You will accept this mission from him, the Revenge of the Cartels, and what you are going to have to do now after he does his little yappy dappy. Yep, search Galaxy for decoder rings, or the first time you do it, it'll be coordinates. Now, it will tell you to go to Ascension Bluff, but I'm going to show you guys a way faster and a way better way to get these. So, in order to farm these coordinates, we are going to head over to Pandora and Carnivora. Go ahead and fast travel over there. So, once you get here to Carnivora, this is going to be your main little farming area for the decoders and or the coordinates. This area is typically pretty good for spawning the cartel enemies. Don't mind that guy not being a cartel enemy right there, but if you're on console or have a slower PC, you can feel free to farther navigate the map to continue farming, or if you don't care and just want to save and quit, which is what I do, you can just save quit, keep farming this first area. Normally it takes me anywhere from like 3 to 5 save quits to get enough, and then you can head back to Maurice and hand him the rings. Alright, we just got back from Carnivora. We got all of our decoder rings and or coordinates. We talked to Maurice. Well, if you haven't opened this already, you'll give it to Maurice and then you will come through this portal here. And here it's pretty straightforward. You're just going to run through, kill everything, and get to the boss fight. So I will probably just skip ahead and see you guys at the boss fight for the next tip to help you guys out farming this loot. So really quick, I'm going to share a very, very useful and helpful tip for farming the cartel for any loot, but in this case specifically our Fish Slap Grenade. So, Joey Ultraviolet's the boss, but we don't need to worry about that. We are not killing him. Do not kill Joey Ultraviolet until you are done farming here. Instead, what we are going to do is farm the mini bosses that spawn with him. There are 6 possible ones, and we need Fish Slap and Tyrone Smallums out of those 2. Or if you're not super into the grind and don't want to reset a bunch of times like that, as long as you get one of them, that's okay. You can also get a mixture of the 2 and try and farm for more loot, like an OPQ system or a no pew pew. Up to you. Either way, you're going to want to go to you at least get one of those 2 mini bosses with Joey Ultraviolet. And once you do, you are not going to save quit. You are going to let them down you and or down yourself and give up. In doing so, you will spawn literally right next to the fountain again, to where you can walk back down into the boss fight, farm that mini boss up until you get the Fish Slap Grenade. Now, if you don't get either of those bosses, and or if you're going for both, sadly you have to save quit starting back at the beginning, but you only have to clear out the last wave right in front of the big mansion where you take on the boss fight. So I hope that saves you guys a lot of time farming this Fish Slap Grenade, because it can be a pain in the ass. Okay, we are on to the Revolter Shield now. This one is super easy to farm, and honestly probably one of the easiest to get on this list besides the ones from the vault card. You're going to get the Revolter Shield by killing a boss named Sumo. Sumo has a 30% drop rate on the Revolter Shield, and not only does he have a 30% drop rate, this is his only dedicated drop, making this a super easy farm. So now, in order to do this and unlock Eschaton Row, which is where Sumo is, you're going to have to start a mission with Ava over here on the desk. I've already completed it, but right here there will be a microphone with the option to start a mission. You're going to want to go ahead and do that. Okay, so the mission will take you here itself, but you are going to be going to Promethea, to Eschaton Row, and this is where you can find our boy Sumo. He will be spawning down up here right at the end of the map. Like I said, this is the first mission at least, so all you got to do is take the 20 minutes to get through it and you'll get to Sumo. And then you can go ahead, farm him up. It should really take you no time at all to get this Revolter Shield. It might be the easiest to get on the whole list. Alright guys, finishing out our list, last but not least is our artifacts. Starting with the Snowdrift Static Charge, I would just like to make a quick mention. This, your other artifact, your class mod, and the Face Puncher are all world drops if you want to go the world drop route. It's the way I went for half of this stuff, I just kind of recommend it, but if not, here's the dedicated route. Alright, so again, we are going to head over to Eden 6 and the Floodmore Basin. Over here in this area right next to Knotty Peak, there's this little gap between these 2 holes in the map. This is where you will find Artemis. Artemis has a 15% drop rate on the Static Charge. Then we are left with the Auto Idol. Again, this can be a world drop, but I'm going to show you guys the location to get a dedicated drop. Another 15% from Rachel the Anointed. This is going to be at the Cathedral of Twin Gods on Pandora. You are going to go ahead, do the loop-de-doop and pull from the fast travel station. Then you will end up over here near where you drop into the boss fight, but don't drop into the boss fight. You will see Rachel the Anointed right outside the pipe. That is who you want to sit and farm to get your very last artifact for your Phase Slam God build. Alright, and if you guys stuck around to the end, thank you so much. It is greatly appreciated. I really hope this video helps you guys out and gets you started on Amara and playing this super fun and OP build. I'm addicted to it and I love it, and I hope you guys are the same way. And if you are, feel free to drop a like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see some other Borderlands 3 content. Do you want to see another Zero to Hero on a different hunter? Let me know. I'd be more than happy to do it for you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm out.